Introducing this new monitor from Gigabyte. It's the M27QA ICE, a 27-inch 1440p monitor, and it is available in the elusive white color. Well, not really white, but it's slightly more with a bluish hue, hence the word ice in the name since I think it's ice cold. That's something that I came up with, not Gigabyte. Now, having a white monitor here is a pretty rare thing to have, and that's why we're taking a look at this monitor today. So do remember to subscribe so we can bring you more monitor reviews like this. Let's start with the panel quality first. As the name suggests, it's a 27-inch screen with an SS IPS panel, no idea what SS means, and 1440p in resolution. The refresh rate is at 180Hz as well, and we'll talk about this later. The screen quality is actually quite good. We can get around 100% of sRGB and 96.06% of DCI-P3 color gamut coverage with a very low delta E number. That's great in terms of the color reproduction. As for the brightness, this monitor can achieve a maximum of 355 nits in SDR mode and 470 nits in HDR mode. Impressive so far. Since it is an IPS panel, the viewing angle is great as well. And it even has more features too. Housed inside the OSD menu that can be controlled with the joystick at the back right side, I want to highlight three main features. First, this monitor has AMD freezing. Please enable this so screen tearing is mitigated. Secondly, the overdrive option. This is meant to cut the pixel response time, and I can safely say that it does make a difference. If we turn it off, we can see a trail behind the UFO. If we turn it to the balanced or speed mode, which is the maximum overdrive mode, then it will overcompensate and leave a trail behind. Now, the best setting here that I can recommend you to use is the picture quality mode. It doesn't have overcompensation and it actually looks the best out of all the options available. Do remember that your refresh rate is independent from your pixel response time, so 180Hz doesn't mean no motion blur, so you have to fine-tune the options yourself. We also have another option here called Super Resolution, which I suggest you to not use it since it just cranks up the sharpening and some artifacts will start to appear when you crank it to the near maximum. So I just leave this off. Before we talk about other features, let's now talk about the ports first. It has a lot of ports, and what I'm interested here is the USB-C port, the USB-B upstream port, and also the audio jack. If we plug in all of the cables as shown in this diagram here, then we can use the KVM feature that is built into the monitor. And that is exactly what we have done with this set of my hand. And that is exactly what we have done with this setup here. I can start working on the laptop, and when I'm done working, I can just change the setting on the OSD menu, and all of a sudden I am using the same keyboard, video, mouse, and even audio on my desktop. So let me just show you in real time. Since I already configured it, I can just push the joystick to go up and it will switch. And it's very seamless as well. Of course, there's audio, so I'll just switch back. And that is the beauty of KVM. If you want to know more about KVMs, then we have another dedicated video about this topic in particular, so watch it at the top right corner there. By the way, this monitor does not have a speaker built in, so that is why we have to plug in our own speakers to the audio jack of this monitor. However, if you want to use it in KVM mode, the USB-C port only outputs a maximum of 10 watts. Come on now, many other KVM monitors in the market right now can output 90 watts of power through that single USB Type-C port alongside with data. And we can also charge our laptop or phone, or if you want to plug in your handheld gaming device to a big screen, you can do that as well. By the way, the Gigabyte does not include any USB Type-C cable in the box, so have fun looking for a proper USB-C cable that will work in KVM mode. I mean, we have some recommendations, so we'll leave them down in the description for you. There are affiliate links, by the way. And if you want to know why USB-C cables are so confusing, then we also have another video for you as well. So check that out. Now let's talk about the white bezels of this monitor. Again, it's not exactly white since it's a little bit bluish. It's rare to see a monitor with this color because the screen bezels are black and most people, at least some people, will find white bezels a bit distracting on this kind of panel here. I'm rather impartial to the bezel color, but I am distracted by something else. You see this gap between the panel and the monitor's housing? Yeah, that gap is distracting. I can even see the plastic rails inside the monitor housing. Moreover, this panel is slightly curved around the corners, but the monitor housing is completely squared. That leaves a weird gap in between, and that's actually even more distracting. Now I can't unsee it. Also, the monitor stand is pretty bare bones. We have both tilt and height adjustments, which arguably are the two most important adjustments on a monitor. We can also swap the monitor stand for a monitor arm since it supports the standard 100 by 100mm VESA mount. Cable management here is pretty basic since we only have a hole on the monitor stand, and that's about it. One thing that I need to highlight is that this monitor uses an external power supply. It's easy to replace it if it breaks, but we have another power brick to hide to keep our desk tidy, which is why it's hanging below the table. And finally, the price. The Gigabyte M27QA ICE is priced at around 1,200 ringgit depending on where you get it from. All in all, this is a great monitor for the price, and it is indeed a good looking one. It would have been perfect if the USB-C can output 90 watts of power. And maybe while you're there, might as well add more USB ports so I can connect everything to the monitor and then switch between two devices all at once. That's all that we have for you here in today's video. Do remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video where we're gonna talk about some other monitors instead.